Hi viewers, welcome back to the Brainstorm channel. Now I want to ask you one question. Is God real? What would be your answer if somebody next to you would ask you that? I'm sure for most people watching this, you would say, yes, God is real. Now your answer or response will be based on something. Your answer would have been as a result of experience, your knowledge, and what you have heard from people or from other sources in the church, in literature, and all that. Now, I want to say one thing, that God is an actuality, but our experience with God is real based on our realization. We do not see God or experience God at the same level. All over the world, you would realize that there are many religions. And even within a religion, there are many denominations. We want to talk about a religion like Christianity, which has many denominations. And within these denominations, there are different concepts of God. Although everyone within Christianity believes in Jesus Christ, but their dogmas or their approaches or experiences, to that God is different. I want to say one thing. Why is there differences? Why do we have differences in our God concept, even within the same religion? We could ask ourselves, and then the answer will not be far-fetched. I had earlier mentioned in an intro video that there is a difference between an actuality and a reality. God being a constant is an actuality, but our realization of God depends on so many factors. It depends on our experiences, depends on many others. Personally, when I was growing up, the concept was that heaven is in the sky. Because as a child, anytime we used to pray, we would look up because we were looking up to God. But as I grew up and other people around me grew up, they knew that heaven was not somewhere outside there that we have to use a rocket or an airplane to access or to get to. Now, our concept or knowledge of God started to improve, started to change, and so it is with all religions. Now, let us use this very simple example. When in the past, I would say, mankind believed that the earth was flat. That was the knowledge. Even in churches, in every setup, the information that was given out to everybody was that the earth was flat. Until when Pythagoras and other scientists from Greece, the Greek scientists, after some studies, experiments, and all that, came up with this, something that changed the concept at that time, that the earth was spherical, that is round. Now, it was met with resistance at first because, tradition died hard. People said, no, who is this man that would tell us that the earth is no more flat, but is now spherical? And so it was very controversial. But today, nobody doubts the spherical shape of the earth. that is experience, that is knowledge. And there was a shift from what was believed, what was known, to something that is presently known. Another example is about blood circulation. We know of Harvey, who first postulated that blood flows like a circuit. You have the veins, the venules, the arteries, the arterioles, and that is how blood flows. That again was met with resistance because the knowledge at the time could not comprehend how blood would flow all over the body. So that's what we are talking about. And our experience with God is also like that. So reality changes with time, changes with knowledge, changes with experience. But actuality remains a constant, remains the same. And God is constant. God is an actuality. Now, another thing I want us to know is this, that different religions see God differently and are convinced by their reality. A Muslim sees God differently, a Christian sees God differently, and I would say an African traditional religionist sees God differently. So you see different religions, different knowledge, different realizations, and different concepts of God. Now, another thing that might be as, I wouldn't say a shock, but should teach us a lesson is this. Within the same fold of Christianity, different churches see God differently. Within the same church or fold, denomination, there could be different realization of God. Example is this. You could bring two pastors, two reverends, and they pray about the same thing, but they come up with different interpretations because of their knowledge, because of their experience, and because of their background, and that is their reality. Now, you can see that, I would use the example in political circles. You find out that different pastors and reverends come up. They look at something and predict. They give a prediction about one thing. That is what they know. That is what they see. That is what they realize. Another pastor comes in, gives a different prediction to that same phenomenon. That is what they see. That is what he sees. And so you see that the same concept or phenomenon can be interpreted differently. They may call this different names. They may call it prophecy. They may call it prediction. It is all about, it's a matter of semantics. Now, there's one thing. There are two sets of, even within Christianity, two sets of people that I have met. I have met people who every time they give you a vision or they tell you something about a vision that they have seen about Jesus Christ, they tell you that they saw Jesus Christ in a vision on the cross, bleeding from all parts of the body, suffering and crying. And you also have another set of visioners, people who claim they see Jesus, but they see Jesus in white garments, rejoicing, being very cheerful and rejoicing. Now you see, one set of visioners see Jesus as the suffering Jesus. Another set see Jesus as the glorious emancipated Jesus. And now you also want to match it with their predictions or prophecy. You have some who always prophesy doom because they always see the suffering Jesus. And you have those who always prophesy good things and liberation because they see an emancipated Jesus. They see that glorious Jesus. So you see, one set could be a set of prophets that see doom, and another set could be prophets that see liberation. And so, why is this so? That one group, one aspect, or I would say group of visionaries are pessimists. Another group are optimists. They always see the good in something. The other always see impending doom, destruction. One sees advancement, success, blessings. And these are all within the same fold. They can tell you, yes, they see these things. Yes, they see. We cannot argue with them because they claim to see these things. But what we are saying here is that our realization of God depends on knowledge, depends on our experience, depends on our background. And so we do not see God, we do not realize God at the same level. Now, I want you to introspect. I want you to meditate on this. I want you to brainstorm on this. Do you agree with me? Do you have these two sets of people? Those who always see doom and those who always see liberation and success and blessings? How do you see their lives? For those who are pessimists, what do they always prophesy about? And those who are optimists, what do they always prophesy about? So, but one thing is that we are talking about here is that God is a constant. God is actual. He will always remain God. But our own realization or experience or interpretation of the manifestations of God will always depend on our reality. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Remember to click the notification